Thank you, Dr. Hill. No pressure, no pressure. This is my first time doing this, JK. Hi, how is everyone doing today? We had some lunch, we got our glucose levels up, we're a little bit hydrated. So how many of you have been enjoying the presentation? Like today has been a full day from the keynote, but there's something that has been standing out or something that resonates with you. Show of hands of anything that was shared today online or even in person that has been a blessing. All right, perfect. Well, we are going to continue this conversation today. So I am Dr. Lorneka Joseph. I originally hail from the Bahamas, but I am here from Orlando, Florida. And so thank you. I am super excited. I want to continue to let's just take a moment just to give the Women's Mental Health Conference team and the committee a rounding round of applause. Because having an event, hosting an event, organizing an event is no easy feat. And so I just want to thank you all for your hospitality and just absolutely being amazing. And so today, my assignment and my role as a pharmacist is to speak to you all as it relates to mental health, what it means to go beyond the pill bottle. How many of you, show of hands, you've taken a medication at some point in your life? Raise your hand. All right. So everyone has taken medication, whether it's been an antibiotic, whether you had a sinus infection, maybe it was birth control, whether, or pain, maybe you had a fever and you needed some Tylenol, but every one of us, we have had some additional help. And so today, as we talk about what it means to go beyond the pill bottle, my assignment is how are we going to integrate faith with the facts? Because again, all of it can coexist, but there is a beautiful marriage. And I think one of the reasons why we are here is we want to remove the stigma of what it means to actually take medication for insomnia. Maybe you had a heartbreak. Maybe you've had an experience and you've had a loss of sleep, because sometimes we go through experiences, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether maybe it's a heartbreak, or maybe you relocated and you are struggling with loneliness or finding your community. That can also lead to insomnia. And sometimes for a season, we need medications. All right, next. Okay, so first and foremost, let's dismantle some myths. Faith and medicine are not enemies, right? They need to coexist. And in order for us to improve the way we feel emotionally, spiritually, it's going to require, again, seasons where we're going to either see a therapist, right? Dr. Bouquet was earlier our keynote. She talked about, intergenerational trauma. And so there are seasons where, hey, it's actually okay if you are having a panic attack and you need to see a psychiatrist and you need some prescribed medication. One of my assignments here is to get you to understand and embrace that there is nothing wrong with being a Christian, loving God, and taking medication. Let me say that again. There is nothing wrong with being a Christian, believing in God, and saying to yourself, you know what? I need some help. I can't sleep. I'm having chest pains. I'm going through grief. So I need medication for a season. It doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. But we here today, a part of this mental health conference at Yale, we want you to understand that you have this safe space and it is actually okay to do such, right? So we must dismantle the shame as women around healing. So again, also not just for yourself, but also for another woman that you may meet. Maybe she is of a different faith. She is a different ethnic background. But again, the purpose of why we are showing up every year for this conference at Yale is because we want to continue to break down those walls and break down the challenges and the shame that we sometimes face navigating grief, navigating faith, and emotional overwhelm. If you're with me, say, I am brightly awake.
I'm brightly awake.
All right, next. So you're probably thinking, who is Dr. Lorneka? Why is she here? This colorful, creative, exciting, a little boisterous woman. I am a pharmacist. I am a faith talker and walker and former caregiver. So we're going to get into a little bit more of the conversation. But I have prayed through trauma. I have journaled through grief from the Bahamas to Florida to here in Connecticut. But I have learned the integrative importance and the value of medication because, again, we are also going to see that biblically and even spiritually, we all serve a role as it relates to medicine. All right. Thank you so much, Iris. So for the time that we have today, what are my objectives? What is the purpose? Why am I here? So the first thing, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to address cultural stigmas, right? Surrounding prescribed medications. Second objective, we are going to talk about these stigmas. And I'm not just giving you information, but I'm also giving you the tools to empower you so that when you leave here today, you leave this afternoon, and for those who are engaging online, I want you to take this information, apply this information, which is wisdom, and then that's what's going to empower you to continue to take this into your community. All right. Last but not least, actionable coping strategies. How do you cope after a heartbreak? How do you cope when you recognize that God probably has you in a season where you're shifting identities? You're in an identity crisis. You've been studying something for so long, and now He has you in a space where you are transitioning in a different industry that may seem foreign to you. How many of you have gone through change before where you're like, God, I don't know what you're doing, but this is uncomfortable. Okay, I see a few hands in the room. Same as well. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to share some tips with you on how we actually do that. All right, so fun facts about me. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a pharmacist and coach. I've been working for 15 years. I know I look like I'm 18, but I'm a little bit older. I am a thought leader by the grace of God, and this is why conferences like this are so important because what God placed on the inside of you is necessary. I didn't think that, me practicing as a pharmacist, talking about mental health, I started on Facebook and Instagram, and I just started telling my story. And so that grew. And during the pandemic, I was featured in Forbes magazine alongside two other therapists, and we basically were featured on our impact in not only just the Black community, but the community globally as it relates to mental health and wellness. And then also just a little fun facts. I love Seinfeld. When I die, I'm telling you right now, I am going to have a real conversation with God about lizards and frogs. I don't know why they exist, but they freak me out. I do not like creepy crawlies, but I know they serve a purpose. Social stats, again, it's about almost 18,000 people across different platforms that I get to empower as a pharmacist, a life and wellness coach. And of course, at the bottom, as you can see at your screen, for those also online, these are just some of the organizations and corporations that as I hired me or I partner with them. So that's Orange County Bar Association, Miss Bahamas, which I also competed a few years ago, Department of Health and Citibank. So these are just some of the partners that I've had the opportunity to empower as well. Okay, so why are we here? Why are you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit here to receive this information? Because the truth is, it's important. As I was sharing with my friend Mimi, mental health is never going to go away, right? Whether you are 5, you're 12, you're in a different generation, a different culture, ethnic background, mental health affects every one of us. And so just a few statistics, 1 in 5 women in the United States take mental health medication. I'm going to pause for a moment because again, we are removing shame. 1 in 5 women. So if you count from Reagan, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 in 5 women are on some kind of medication, whether it's for anxiety, whether it's for depression, whether it's for insomnia. We are all maximizing and experiencing the benefits of what it means to take medication. Secondly, while we are here, faith communities sometimes, unfortunately, dismiss and misdiagnose individual balances. So you can be attending a service, maybe mass, and maybe someone had a panic attack. Maybe someone, let's say, for example, I know Mother's Day is coming up. And so, show of hands for those of you in the room, if you've lost a parent. Wow, look around the room, everyone. So there are a few of us who've not only lost a parent, but usually around the holidays, like Mother's Day, and myself included, I not only lost my mother, but interestingly enough, through the power of grace and the grace of God, He has allowed me to overcome that, because not only did I lose my mother at 17 years old, she died on a Mother's Day. So yeah, same thing I said. I was like, God, really? You chose me to have this strong back? And I'm like, but again, through healing, through therapy, through counseling, I've been able to overcome that. But again, losing a loved one is never easy. Number 3, silence leads to shame. If you are connected with other women, if you are connected with people in your community, and you find that they are constantly shaming you, guilting you, or making you feel guilty for taking a medication, seeing a therapist, or also setting boundaries, what you want to do is you want to begin to pray and ask God to change your network. Because the moment you feel that you are being shamed, that delays your healing. We have to talk about the sexual abuse. We have to talk about the breakup. We have to talk about the seasons where you're navigating different friendships. Maybe there was a lifestyle that you lived a few years ago, and now God has shifted you, and so your palette for certain things and activities have changed. And there are certain times, Iris, where people get offended with that, and you're like, God, what is happening? What's happening is you are evolving as a woman, and evolution is important. All right. So, common stigmas, you can nod your head, you can take a picture, or even let me know if any of these sound familiar to you. If you had more faith, you wouldn't need medication. How many of you heard something of that effect before? I see a few hands in the room and probably also online. It's just in your head. Maybe you went to the emergency room. Maybe you had a child and, you had an experience in the hospital, and one of the providers said, she's being dramatic. She's being too much. It's just in her head, right? All of those are not only stigmas, but those are statements that create and perpetuate the shame, which is why we as women, we sometimes hold back what it is that we are struggling with. How many of you have heard something of this effect? Number 3, what happens in this house stays in this house. Let's say it one more time. What happens in this house stays. That is something that is very cultural for many of us. And unfortunately, even for my grandmother, before both my mother and my grandmother passed away, I was the granddaughter, I was the niece, I was always asking questions. Hence, I'm a speaker, right? So I was always the young girl in school. Someone died. Someone was struggling with alcoholism. I was asking, well, Grammy, what happened? How did he die at 35? Who is this person? And so what happens is no one really wanted to answer because it's generational. So if your grandmother didn't talk about past history, or she didn't talk about who she dated, what happens is we, the current generation, we continue to attract those kinds of people, because again, what happens in this house stays in this house, became a mission for us, and now it has created all of these barriers, and now we are in therapy, which is good. But again, in order for us to change and improve the next generation, we're going to have to start speaking up. Only weak women take medication or go to therapy. Sounds familiar? Heard it before? Yeah? Only weak women take medications, and that is not true. So here's the thing. Whether you take medications or not for any kind of mental health condition, God still loves you the same, and He doesn't love you less. If you are going to therapy every week or every month, he doesn't see you less than the woman who isn't going to therapy. He loves us all the same. And so there are seasons where we need both science and faith, because they are not opposing forces. All right. So one of my favorite biblical characters or individuals in the Bible was Luke. And as you can see it there, I was going to ask you why, but because again, Luke was a physician. He was on Jesus' team. He was one of the 12. And what I love about Luke, with all of his expertise, all of the studies that everyone here is probably taking part of and doing, he was not so high-minded that he also couldn't follow someone else. But one of the things that I want to remind you is science, medicine, and faith, it's not new. Luke, who was again one of the Jesus' disciples, he used his medical skills and his faith to serve a greater mission. So for me as a pharmacist, I have learned early on that not only is the work that I do as a pharmacist and mental health educator important, but again, when I'm long and gone, someone else is going to experience the benefit of it. Again, so Luke's life, it shows that professional expertise and spiritual calling can work together to impact lives. And then lastly, as it relates to his life, your skills, ladies, here and online, your skills, your faith, they are not to be separated. They're a beautiful marriage. So I want you to just let that resonate. Your faith, your journey, the abuse, the disappointment, the heartbreak, the loneliness, all of it are both parts, all of it are parts of your greater purpose. And the purpose is not just about you, it's about the people that you're going to meet along the way. All right. So three major, for the sake of time, we do have way more major classifications, drug classifications that are used for things, for conditions like depression or panic attack. But today we're going to talk about three major drug classifications. And so as you see there in the green, there is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. I know it's a tongue twister, which is better known as an SSRI. So there are drugs like, how many of you heard of Prozac? Okay, sertraline, Zoloft, those are some of the medications that are used for anxiety. They're used for depression and also for people, maybe you identify as someone who struggle with OCD. So these are some of the medications that are used. And then secondly, we have something known as benzodiazepines, which is also referred to in the medical field as BZDs. Heard of Xanax, anyone? Ativan, Ambien to get some sleep. Okay, perfect. So that's what that classification, and I'm going to share with you the importance of it, but also some drawbacks and some information and questions that I want you to ask your providers before getting on these medications. And again, antidepressants are very important. All right. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we need faith and science to coexist. So you need your therapist. You don't just need your physician. You need a therapist, you need your physician, and you need a pharmacist. This is part of something, a coaching concept that I share with my clients, which is known as your home team. So you don't just want to have a pharmacist. If you can, if you are in the space where you're like, Dr. Lorneka, I want to improve. I want to feel better as a mother. I want to feel better as a wife. I want to feel better in my industry, but I need a little bit of help. So if you are taking medications or you feel like you need to take medications, please make sure that you are seeing a therapist, because again, it can expedite the healing process as you are taking the medication. So as we are talking about what it means to go beyond the pill bottle, faith and facts, it's not just a pill. It's not just the prayer or the scripture. It's what helps you activate peace to process the seasons of change. All right, next. Is this helping anyone so far? Okay, perfect. So I want us to take actually a minute or two. I know I see some of you have a pen or maybe your notes. I want you to think about this question, and I'm going to pause. How has stigma, whether from the church, whether from culture, whether your own expectations, how has stigma shaped your view of mental health support? So I want you all to do this little exercise. You can take out your phone, just write something down for me. How has stigma kind of pretty much shaped your view of mental health? Were you afraid, or have you been afraid to actually go and see a therapist? I'm gonna give you a minute or so, also online too. You could probably put that in the chat. Has it affected you? Did you actually go to see your pastor, or maybe you went to mass or you went to service and you felt shamed? You were silenced